Have you ever wondered how an AI really creates an image? I mean, not just guessing, but truly understanding every single pixel? Well, a new model from ByteDance, called Farmer, is getting incredibly close to doing just that. Today, we're going to break down its really cool approach to tackling one of AI's biggest challenges, working directly with the raw building blocks of every single picture.
We see these incredible AI-generated images all the time now, right? They look almost effortless. But for an AI, creating an image from scratch is one of the hardest things it can possibly do. The real challenge, you see, isn't just coming up with the big idea. It's mastering the raw, chaotic data of every single pixel.
So here's the game plan for today. First, we'll dig into why pixels are such a nightmare for AI. Then, we'll look at the two classic ways researchers have tried to solve this. After that, we'll introduce Farmer's awesome new hybrid method, break down its 3 secret ingredients, see how it performs against the competition, and wrap up with what this all means for the future.
Okay, let's dive right in with that fundamental challenge. Let's call it the AI pixel problem. Seriously, why is this so hard?
Well, it really just comes down to this. An image is a massive, and I mean massive, sequence of data. Just think about a tiny 256 by 256 image. Each pixel has 3 color values. That's over 196,000 different numbers that the AI has to predict, one after the other, in an order that makes perfect sense. It's a ridiculously long sequence modeling problem, way longer than the sentences a language model usually has to worry about.
So, to try and wrestle with this massive problem, researchers have generally gone down 2 very different paths. Okay, so on one side, you've got AutoRegressive models. These work exactly like the language models we know and love, predicting the next piece of the puzzle. For text, that's the next word. For images, it's the next pixel. They're super powerful, but they are painfully slow for images because those sequences are just too long. Then, on the other side, you have Normalizing Flows. These are really fast and mathematically beautiful. The best analogy is taking a super complex, crumpled up piece of paper, that's your image, and perfectly smoothing it out into a simple, flat sheet. The catch is, if the image is too detailed, too crumpled, this method can't quite get all the wrinkles out, and you end up losing a lot of those sharp, fine details.
So you have this classic trade-off, right? Power versus speed, detail versus precision. And this is exactly where Farmer steps in, with a hybrid solution that tries to give us the absolute best of both worlds.
The genius of Farmer is that it doesn't pick a side, it brings them together. The full name, Flow AutoRegressive Transformer, says it all. First, it uses a normalizing flow, not to oversimplify the image, but just to transform it into a much more organized, manageable sequence. And then, it brings in the heavy hitter, a powerful autoregressive model, to learn that new, cleaner sequence. It's not about choosing, it's about simplifying the problem before you try to solve it.
Now, this whole hybrid approach is only possible because of 3 really clever innovations. This is the secret sauce that makes the entire thing work.
All right, innovation number 1 is how Farmer just gets smarter about the problem. It realizes that not all pixel data is created equal. So Farmer automatically splits the data into 2 groups. You've got the informative channels. This is the core structure, the lines, the shapes, and then you have the redundant channels. This is all the color, texture, and the little details. You can think of it like an artist who sketches the main outline first and only then starts filling in the color. By splitting up the work like this, the model can focus on one thing at a time. And wow, this image really shows you how well that separation works. In these examples from the paper, all they're doing is tweaking those redundant channels. Look at that. The color and the texture of the dog's fur changes completely, but the dog itself, its pose, its shape, even its eyes, it stays perfectly the same. That's the power of that informative channel holding down the fort.
Okay, the second huge idea is all about speed. Models like this have this notorious bottleneck that just grinds things to a halt, and Farmer has a brilliant way around it.
So the kind of flow model Farmer uses normally has to work backwards to generate an image, piecing it together one little bit at a time. It's a massive bottleneck. But Farmer's solution is a shortcut called one-step distillation. Instead of rebuilding the image step by painful step, it actually trains the model to learn how to do the entire reverse process in one single giant leap. It just completely sidesteps that one-at-a-time problem.
And the result? This one simple trick makes that part of the process an incredible 22 times faster. Which, when you look at the whole picture from start to finish, means the total image generation time is 4 times faster than it would be otherwise, with almost no hit to the quality. That is a huge win for efficiency.
And finally, the third innovation is all about control, giving the AI a much better steering wheel. They use a new technique called resampling-based classifier-free guidance. It basically lets the model more accurately steer the generation process toward the image it's supposed to be making, which results in a big jump in the final quality.
So, we've got a cool new hybrid model with 3 key tricks up its sleeve. But does it actually work? Let's check out the results.
Okay, what we're looking at here is the FID score. It's a standard way to measure image quality, and all you need to know is that lower is better. And, well, you can see for yourself. Compared to other models that work directly on pixels, Farmer really shines. It hits a score of 3.60, easily beating Starflow and just crushing JetFormer, which is the most similar model out there. That's not just an improvement, it's a huge leap forward.
But you know, numbers don't tell the whole story. This quote from the paper really gets to the heart of it. Because Farmer works directly on pixels and uses that uncrumpling method we talked about, which is perfectly reversible, it doesn't lose any information. And that means it is fantastic at creating those sharp, intricate details like faces or fur that other models, especially ones that use compression, tend to make blurry or weird.
All right, let's zoom out. We've gone through the tech, we've seen the results. What's the big takeaway here? Why does this matter?
What it comes down to is this. Farmer gives us a powerful all-in-one framework for generating images directly from the source code of what we see, the pixels themselves. A lot of the big models out there first compress an image into a smaller latent space, which can create an information bottleneck. Farmer doesn't do that. It works with the raw data, which helps preserve all that detail and gives us a mathematically pure understanding of the image. That's a really big deal. And that really just leaves us with one final big question. For years, mastering the pixel has been one of the toughest mountains to climb in AI. Now that we're seeing models like Farmer actually start to conquer it, it really makes you wonder, what's the next fundamental frontier that AI is about to blow right past?